putting a book out to the world is a vulnerable act. Having a podcast, writing a talent development framework, writing for Forbes, putting your stuff out to the world, put yourself in a vulnerable position. Vulnerability is the birthplace of joy, creativity, innovation. That's what happens. That's the opportunity to come alive in this world. And so the feeling that I want people to have when they spend time with me is I want them to walk away and say, dude, that guy is so convicted.
All right, everybody, welcome to another episode. Look, listen, we are here with Jamar. Got us all together for the Lead the Movement Business Conference, doing this live podcast. Taryell Simmons, the host of Rise Urban Nation and of this informal Lead the Movement podcast. And we got some guests here today we're going to interview. So, you know what I'm going to start you off with, right?
I need some of your energy.
You need some of my energy? Yeah.
So
whatever you this is natural coffee.
Whatever you got, I want some of that. So whatever you say, I'm going to do.
Okay. So I'm going to start you off with, and by the way, he's really serious because he's been back to back on flights coming here, and he got to the Billboard reveal.
Yeah, man.
But before I get into all that, I'm going to start off with what Jamar always hits us up with.
Okay.
Who are you?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah.
Who do you serve? And why do you do it?
Yeah. I am Karen and Wayne's son, Colby B.
Okay.
I was born to two educators that taught me the way you take on the world is to become an educator and marry an educator and educate other people. And that works until you want things like lifestyle and freedom. And
so true.
I've spent the last 20 years reinventing myself.
Okay.
Early in my life, I wanted to coach and teach on an ever-increasing stage. I can remember the moment that it happened for me. And then later in my career, I decided I wanted to create deeper relationships that had bigger impact.
Love that.
So now I focus on the relationship and the impact. And so I coach and teach in every stage of life, but really I specialize in talent development because I believe our 20s are the developmental sweet spot of our life. They set the trajectory for the rest of our life. Those relationships, how we develop ourselves, set the relationships, the opportunity, the financial freedom that we create for ourselves, and all that starts for us in our 20s in the developmental sweet spot.
I love that. Now, I know as a coach, I know you're resonating with some of that, so I'm curious to know what comes to mind for you, what you sitting with, and what questions you got as a coach.
Yeah, well, I know because we've had conversations before. I would love for you to talk a little bit about, because I help get people to tell their stories and tell their stories on stage.
Yeah.
And you now have found getting up on stages and being a speaker as a platform for you to reach more people.
Yeah.
And you shared something with me in the elevator today, which I thought was really beautiful, about how at first that was really difficult for you.
Yeah.
Can you talk to me a little bit about that journey? Because I think it'll help people who are listening.
Well, I mean, they would introduce me, and as they're introducing me, I would say, can I pull the fire alarm? Can I go underneath the table? Can I run out the door? Here's your speaker, Colby Jubenville. And today, what I say to myself is, and I think you have to do this if you go out and speak, and I don't care how big the audience is, but you have to say to yourself, these people have no idea what I'm about to unleash on them. And I think it's getting yourself and that energy ready, because when you walk out on that stage, there's going to be somebody in that audience that is going to try to take your energy. And so I find that one person, and my whole goal is to break them before the end of the
and to that. I know that person.
But it really is. It is the story you start to tell yourself before you walk out there. And so I recently, I love Darius Rucker.
Okay.
And I was able to go to whatever they call storytellers today. VH1 back in the day, storytellers is what we called it. And I was able to go and watch him literally 2 feet away do what he does. And his songs and his music, especially with Hootie, takes me to a place that very few things can. And so to be 2 feet from that and watch someone master their craft the way that they do it, he does it. I walked out and I said, that's what I want to do. I want to be that good that when people walk away, they say that guy has mastered his craft.
Yeah.
And I think speaking and telling those stories are vehicles that help explain change. Everyone in that audience is trying to make sense of their own life.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has stuff that's going on where they're trying to make sense of what is happening for them right there in that moment. And I think your job as a speaker is to give them stories that are vehicles that help explain change.
That's beautiful. As somebody who's mastered something, which we'll talk about a little bit later, what are you sitting with?
I think it's amazing what you're doing. You talk about the education part early. I had the opportunity to teach college many years ago, and I think it's great to give back, right? To give back from the 20s and different generations and so forth. I'm wondering, what's the insight like for these people? There's many insight they can take, but you make a major difference. You can touch those people. What was some of the insight they can get this through them and into your speech?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Well,
yes.
Here's a fundamental belief that I have is that we teach people, if you want more, you got to have more relationships, more opportunity, more education. But the reality is, if you want more, the very first thing you have to have more of is yourself. Self-awareness is the gateway into emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is the number one predictor of performance in a workplace. It can be taught and learned. Those that have it perform at a higher level than those that don't. So what I think we should be spending our time, where talent development starts for me, is in the story we tell ourselves.
True.
It's called narrative-based coaching. And, you know, I was a middle child. My older brother did it first. My younger brother did it better. I go to a middle child conference every year. It's called Thanksgiving. And I don't go as often as I used to.
There's more. I was a middle child too.
There we go. Welcome to the club.
Same school.
And so I think it starts with the story that we tell ourselves. And in all seriousness, I was born to two teachers, and they taught me that, you know, that you were here to educate and marry an educator. And that does work until you want lifestyle and freedom. Lifestyle is not the car you drive. It's not the house you have. Lifestyle is getting paid for your value, not your time. You know the joke about college professors. What do they say? Those who can do and those who can't teach. And then those who can't teach PE. That's the old Woody Allen joke. That's not my joke. But here, and I used to listen to that.
Yeah.
But here's what I say to myself now. But if you can do and teach,
Yep.
you get paid for your value
Yep.
and not your time.
Yep.
That's lifestyle.
Ooh, I like that.
That's a
mic
bar.
drop.
That's a mic drop. That's a mic drop right there. Repeat it one more time for the people in the back.
If you can do and teach, you get paid for your value, not your time.
Right.
And so talent development starts with the story that you tell yourself.
Right. Now I know there's going to be so many people resonating with what you say and want to learn more from you. Tell the people where they can find you. What else you got coming up?
Yeah. Well, this is the hill I'm going to die on. I probably reinvented myself. I started off as a college football coach in 1998. No phones, no computers, no players, no uniforms, and started a football team. And we ended up 21st in the nation. And after 2 years, I burned myself out from coaching college football. I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And I realized that I was either going to spend the rest of my life coaching my kids or coaching somebody else's kids, and I wanted to coach mine. And my son today, Jack, in fact, he's in Knoxville, and he's playing at Tennessee. It's a close practice, and he's texting me, and it's so cool to see that boy. Since when he was born, he stuck his hand out and he grabbed my pinky, and I went down to him and I said, "Man, I've been waiting on you my whole life."
Aw.
And now that boy is 22 years old, and he's out playing basketball in college. And I said, Jack, the greatest opportunity in playing college sports, and this is what I believe about talent development, is that if you want to get better, the very first thing you have to do is get around people better than you. Then you have to commit to get better than them. Then you make the pie bigger, and you make the pie so big that you start a bakery. So you asked me what I'm doing today. My bakery is drjeevanville.com. This is my last iteration of my work, and it's going to be around talent development. The odds of being born, do you know what the odds of being born in this world are?
What's that?
1 in 400 trillion. And so I'll ask 20-somethings. In our 20s, they teach us to get in the game. They don't say what game to get into. They just say get in the game. In our 30s, we have to move up in the game. In our 40s, we have to stay in the game because those 30-year-olds are so damn good. We just try to stay in it. In our 50s, what the research says is we finally ask, what do I really want?
Right.
I used to stop at 50, And this guy in the audience, who was obviously older than 50, said, well, what do you do in your 60s? And I said, man, I'm not 60, so I don't know, but you look like you may be, so why don't you tell us? And he said, well, if you're 50s, you say this is what I really want. Your 60s, you get it and do it.
Right.
And so what I think the talent development framework does at drjubenville.com is provide a path and a plan so that somebody that understands what they were put on this. We're all born with greatness. We're all born with it. I fundamentally believe that. Some people may create confusion, that may create chaos for them in their own minds, but it is truth. It's been written. It is there. I'm a great example of it. And so I think having a path and a plan that allows people to take steps to uncover and develop their talent is our first responsibility. And that's what I'm going to spend the rest of my life doing.
Well, y'all heard it here first. If you want to get in the game and get that talent development framework, you know the website that
drjubenville.com.
There you go. Go there. Get into the game. That's the first part. Let's give it up. Give a round of applause for that. That was beautiful.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Now we're going to transition over.
I got to follow that.
You got to follow that. I don't know if you have a talent development framework, but you got to follow that. So, in the words of Jamar,
Yes.
who are you? Who are you? Your name? What do you do? What's your business? Who do you help? And why do you do it?
Well, I will start off by saying that I am very passionate about helping individuals tell their story and bravely and confidently telling that story, because I do feel strongly that through our stories, we will be able to change the world and leave an impact. And I'm Meridith. I'm Meridith Grundei. I have Grundei Coaching. That's the name of my business. And I have been working with individuals, conscious entrepreneurs, leaders, organizations for several years, helping them do exactly that. I am a former performer, actor. I have a master's degree in theater. I've done a lot of commercials. I've done a lot of stage acting. I've directed. And I took that, and this is my second phase in life where I'm taking all of that wealth of knowledge and helping other people stand in their.
I'm sensing the theme here with the second phase of life, from coaching to acting to now helping people in such a real, raw, and vulnerable way. I can't wait to see what I'm gonna do in my second act. You gotta be thinking now.
I think it's to be a podcast host.
I think that's so. What it is? You're a very good podcast host.
Okay, I'm gonna have to put that on. And I'm wondering, now that you're in the interview spot now and hearing her, and I know you guys had great questions. What's coming up for you? What's some themes when you hear about her and things that you're thinking about?
I'm thinking about becoming an actor. I've always wanted to be one, so now I've got my acting
You
coach.
said you were going to hang your hat. This was your
Yeah,
last.
it's true.
I don't know.
It's true.
Yeah,
I think
did
you
say
should
that.
be an actor.
Well, I've been acting my whole life.
Yes, we all.
So what's some questions you would ask her based on, what you know from your career and so forth in reference to what she's doing?
I think personal branding is made up of two things, brand image and brand identity. Brand image is the feeling that other people have when they spend time with you. What feeling do you want other people to have when they spend time with you?
Ooh, that's a really great question. I want people to feel comfortable. I want people to feel that they can have fun and that they can be themselves. That's what's most important to me, because I feel like a lot of the clients that I get to work with have an idea for how they think they should show up on stage, or how they think they should show up in the boardroom or the conference room, based off of what's been modeled to them. And so we end up getting a lot of cookie cutter presentations, ways of showing up. And so I'm really here to encourage people, bring your authentic self. Because that's really what we want to see. That's why you were hired in the first place. We don't need you to be somebody else.
Man, I'm curious to know. Now that makes me think that everybody's acting because nobody has it figured out, or they're just they're coming into that boardroom with a mask on, right? And they're not being their authentic self. So if everybody's acting, who's keeping it real? And then, so how do we get people to get out of the acting and be their authentic self? Because I feel like that's a component of leadership, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, if you watch Brene Brown's stuff, what she says about the theory of wholeheartedness is that people that love with their whole heart understand that what makes them vulnerable is what makes them beautiful.
Yeah.
And so I've never apologized for who I am. I'm going to be who I am, and they're going to have to decide what they want to do with it.
What's the biggest hurdle for people getting out of their own way to be their authentic self and showing up and using that as a strength versus a crutch or just not showing up as their authentic self?
Well, I think Colby was just hitting upon that, which is I feel it's about tapping into you and that self-awareness piece. And you cannot care about what other people are going to think about you, because if you care too much about what other people are going to think about you, that's just going to paralyze you. And not everybody is going to like you. And not everyone's going to resonate with your message. And that needs to be okay.
And those aren't your people.
And those are not
that's
your
okay.
people anyway.
Right.
It's about the people that you do touch. It's about that. It could be one person in the audience that you've touched that day that resonated with your message.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, you've done your job. I mean, think about all the celebrities that we see every day. Like, not everybody loves Nicole Kidman, but she still does her job and she still shows up.
Well, there's this great moment in A Star Is Born in the remake when Bradley Cooper is talking to Lady Gaga, and she's saying, you know, I just don't think I can do it, you know, and she's just there at this bar, and she's saying, I just don't have what it takes, and he says something to the effect of, look around you, success is everywhere.
Yeah.
It's not about success. It's about, do you have something to say? And can you say it in a way that people want to hear it? I was speaking about 3 years ago, and this guy comes up to me and he said, Jubenville, you're a lot like Waffle House. You serve it up in a way people can get it.
I love it. I love it.
That is a compliment.
Oh, I know.
Right?
I totally love it. And, you know, I want to go back to something.
That's a good one right there.
I want to go back to something that you said about being their own self and having the courage to be that person and then letting the audience decide. There is a book called Backable, The Surprising Truth About Why People Take a Chance on You. And the very first chapter is titled Convince Yourself First.
Yeah.
And if you look at the fact that you can come here, write a book, putting a book out to the world is a vulnerable act. Having a podcast, writing a talent development framework, writing for Forbes, putting your stuff out to the world, put yourself in a vulnerable position. But what we understand is vulnerability is the birthplace of joy, creativity, innovation. That's what happens. That's the opportunity to come alive in this world. And so the feeling that I want people to have when they spend time with me is I want them to walk away and say, dude, that guy is so convicted.
Yeah.
And after I read books very much like I do other things with my ADD. I read them until I find one idea, and then I put the book down. That's it. And I'm going to master that one idea.
Stealing that.
Yeah, I was doing. I was like,
I have to read this whole damn book.
Right. Why would you do that?
I mean, I think
It's a
you're
great
right.
way. So
Yeah,
I pick
no,
up.
I
So
think
I
that's
pick up
brilliant.
Backable, the surprising truth about why people take a chance on you, and it says convince yourself
Oh my God, I
first,
love
and
that.
that's the definition of conviction. And I'm like, that's all I
Done.
need. Put the book down. But I was on John Lee Dumas's podcast early on in my career, Scared to Death, JLD,
Yeah.
Entrepreneur on Fire.
Yeah, he's great. By the
He's
way.
great. And we get to the end, and the question that he says, all right, Colby, and he didn't prepare me for this, or he did, and I back in those days didn't show up prepared. And the question was, you come back to this earth, you know no one, and you get $500 in a computer. What do you do next?
Oh, I've heard him ask this question.
And I said,
Yeah.
I don't need the computer. I'm gonna take the $500, and I'm gonna go build relationships with people that will take a chance on me when nobody else will. Because if I look back about how my consulting career started, there was this one guy that took a chance on me, and we doubled down on the basics. And if you win at the basics, you win. And we saved his company, got it back on track. And I built a relationship where I'm still on retainer with that guy 20 years later.
I love that.
Brilliant.
I love that. The biggest thing I love about what you say is, one, I'm still in that idea too because I got ADHD, and then two, the vulnerable act of putting something out there. I know you have a coaching circle program, and that's part of the vulnerability of putting it out there. Yeah. But before I jump into that, I want to bring Dom in because I see him. He's like shaking his head. So what's sitting with you? What's resonating with you, Dom, and what you want to bring to the?
Well, the thing is this: growing up, I was this person that was more introverted. So for me to be speaking in public, when even as a college instructor, I was nervous.
Yeah.
I have never found ways. And I went to college. I was 8 classes away from my doctorate, my PhD. And no class I took, all the way to grad school, were about how to speak in public, how to be comfortable with yourself, deliver a message. So I'm wondering, what are maybe some aspects you can share? And what you do, if you can just a few insight, would be just great to share. And I just think it's amazing. And you mentioned even improv at one point in time, I believe.
Well, I think this is great. This is a great question because it'll tie into your question. Mm-hmm. So I say it's about doing the reps, just like any athlete would show up and do the reps every day. That's what speakers also need to be doing. You need to be putting yourself in uncomfortable positions. You need to be taking risk and building that muscle. And the more you do it and the more you hear yourself articulating your own message and your own point of view and being vulnerable and allowing yourself to be vulnerable, the easier it will get. Now, will nerves go away? No. They won't.
It doesn't.
They don't.
I was hoping you
And
said.
when people say eliminate the nerves, I'm like, you don't eliminate the nerves. No, they don't
relaxed,
go away.
Is
You get to manage the nerves.
You're just tired.
And it
Okay.
and it depends on the situation too. There are times when I'm not feeling as nervous as other times, depending on what the stakes are, depending on who the audience is, or if I've had enough sleep in the morning.
Yes, okay.
But it's really just about showing up and doing the work, and then it starts to become your own. And then I remember we had a conversation earlier today. You started off scared, where you're like, "Who's here to pull the fire alarm?" But now you're at a point to where what I like to call, rather than memorized, it's integrated. It's so integrated in your body that you can have a conversation with the audience the day before and be able to adapt based off of what their needs are and stand up and deliver a really amazing and compelling talk because you've done it so much. But the problem is most people don't want to put in that much work. They just don't want to do it. So that's why I developed a program where you can show up every week on Wednesdays and put in the reps. And I do it all through improv exercises. And I ask questions and I get people to, where are you at? What speaking thing do you have coming up? Let's do, now we have a practice day. So I carve out time for practice and people can practice, get feedback from their peers, and support each other too, because I think it's also important to have a support system. So that's what my love is. I love getting people out of their heads and into their bodies, connected to their hearts, and speaking from that place. Because ultimately that's what we want to do, is we want to encourage people, inspire people, educate people. So it's really not about us. So we have to get out of our heads.
I love
Get
that.
out of the hand.
All right, now there's gonna be somebody listening to this that you just sold now, and now they want to do the reps, and they're like, "How do I find this lady so I can put in the reps?" So give them the Coaching Circle program. Where can they find you? How they can connect?
So you can find, I'm Grundei Coaching. That's GRUNDEI coaching.com. The name of the program is called Confidently Speaking. I host it on Mighty Networks. It's members.confidentlyspeaking.fun because we have fun. And we meet every Wednesday from 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And I'm thinking of even opening up a second cohort. So that's the program. It's 1 year because I want you to commit.
Get some words of wisdom for somebody who's still stuck in their head and they need to get out of their way and get the reps in. Give them some words of wisdom.
Move your body.
Move your body.
Move your body.
You should start a podcast too, sir.
Yes, you should.
I had one for many years.
Oh, okay. All right. See, no wonder he's natural at this. I was like, wait, he's really good at this. All right. Okay. Dom, so take a deep breath. Move
your body. Move your body.
Move your body. All right. So we got 5 minutes. We're actually over time, but we're going to make this happen.
Okay.
All right.
I can keep it short.
Who are you?
Yes.
What do you do? Who do you do it for? And why do you do it?
Absolutely. I'm Dominic LeRoux. I go by Dom. So Dom LeRoux, I'm the author of the Corporate Gifting Playbook.
Put the cameras right there. Give them that. Boom. And it's about to be a New York Times bestseller. He was just on the billboard. Wait, on my camera here. He was just on the billboard, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Go ahead.
Amazing experience. This book is about helping business leaders, right, to use corporate gifting strategies to attract and engage with potential customers, and to increase loyalty with employees and current clients or customers. And I'm doing this because I want to bring kindness and more to the business world.
There. Spreading kindness.
Yes, we all need kindness.
one gift and playbook at a time. So how did you come up with this?
Well, you know, it's funny because to explain this, I had to go back a little bit.
Okay.
My background is I studied e-commerce. I
Okay.
went to grad school. I was teaching grad school e-commerce. I love it. Was a mix of analytics, and also some of the graphic and the visual aspect. But what I did in my career is helping corporations make millions of dollars. Think about, like, if you go on Google, if you look for a product online, right? Something online, and you find it, then if you don't buy it, you will receive email from me or pop-up message. Hey,
You're that guy.
I'm that guy, right?
Oh man,
So-
my inbox loves you.
So
That's sarcasm.
So I always work as an e-commerce project manager. I help businesses to say, hey, if you come for the first time, if you're not sure, I'll make sure you come back. I'm giving you an incentive. Hey, think of a gift, right? At 10% off, 20% off. If you come today only, we have an extra free product. The second one, half off. So I always use tools. Think of a gift, but instead of a percentage off or extra product. So that's my background. Now, when COVID hit, it was terrible for many reasons. And everybody remember where we were and how much it changed our life. But from my grandma to a local person that just like to buy locally, it changed the way we purchase. My grandma asked me, how do we go to Amazon.com? How do we purchase? She never created an account and all these. So we have no choice to only purchase from, because the local businesses were closed. It forced the loyalty, right, to reduce, and post-COVID, that loyalty have decreased even more, right? So that affected that part. And then when it comes to employees, you guys have heard of the Great Resignation era, right? So it did some good. Not to go back to that era, but disrupt everything. Disrupt the loyalty for employees, for customers. So Dom said, well, you know what? What can we do with the same thing as e-commerce? Let's prove a concept we can use the kindness or gifting as a kindness, but to attract, engage, and retain employees and customers and so forth. So I went ahead and I love candles. Don't ask me why. When I was a kid, my mom always buy candles. If there's something, we have a bad day or a good day. Raised up as a Catholic boy, we put candle for anything. So candle was a great thing. And down the street from me, there's a manufacturer of candles, the third largest one in the country. So I went over there and I said, hey, I'd like to buy a couple candles. So I ended up buying 2,000 beautiful 3 wicks soy blend scented candles. And I donated that. I took a whole year to donate. I made those, and I bought commercial printers, and I make personalized labels for those, and I just donate that. For example, Jamar Jones, the one and only, right? He had a book to promote in the BitCon 2022. And I said, let me give you, let's say, 100 candles. We personalized a beautiful message. So the goal for him to do that purpose was to engage and attract potential custom clients from this. So he had a speech at the BitCon. So during his speech, he said, guys, and of course we have a beautiful display, and everybody said, you can smell, if you're in the back row, you can smell that nice, it was a vanilla scent. It was a beautiful aroma, and people can scent it. And during his speech, he said, guys, if you stay at the end, come see me, sign up my newsletter, you'll receive that free scented candles.
I love that.
I have a video. You can go on YouTube and put Lucky. We call it the Lucky Penny Candles.
Yeah.
That was the brand, and I have to name it somehow, right? And people in line waiting. And for him, he did what he wanted to. It allowed him a chance to engage, or attract, and engage with potential people, and then follow up with them once they sign up. So I did this from Hawaii to Canada, anywhere in between. So I did donate actually I bought another 2,000. So 4,000 candles total in about a year. And I've tested that with different groups. Right. For example, if you say, Dom, I'm an accountant. I'm going to an expo. Nobody likes, accounting is a dry subject. People love accountants, but it's a dry subject, right?
We love our accountants until we don't love our accountants.
We do.
I don't know. Some of the accountants I know are some of the funnest people.
Yeah, and they're nice people, but when it comes to an exposition, it's kind of hard to. So in the corporate gifting playbook, right, you use these strategies. And again, these are real world for almost 2 years. And we did an accountant. And what they did, those candles, same thing. We use the candles, put it in the front. It smells so good. And then, but before, so we attract people, and before giving the candles, you have to give the business card and listen to their speech. And it was phenomenal. People, I was walking around, because every time I donated those, I went to all those events, especially Hawaii. It was really nice. So I could see firsthand and take videos and try, to see. But those theories, so going back to the book, all those real world theory has been used in a way that we can use this to engage. Same thing, any field. If you are a consultant, if you are, you can use those corporate gifting to promote your brand at local event, to give a little something. It doesn't have to be a candle. It could be different thing, but it's a playbook. So we have the strategies, the insights, and real world example of how we did it and how it can help you and your brand in your companies and so forth.
Love that.
Yes.
I see you shaking your head. So
I'm just loving the idea. I love myself a candle.
I love a candle too. Like I'm still sitting with the kindness piece that you talked about, because I know both of you talked about that in your essence, and I'm curious to know what, when you think about spreading kindness in such a way, like through what you see in there, what they do, how could that, give me the strategy? What would be the playbook on how they spread kindness that really helps them, build those relationships through corporate gifting? How would, give me a strategy. I know I put you on the spot, but give me a strategy.
You said something, both of you say so many great things in the last 15, 20 minutes, but in both of your case, you mentioned about the why, right? You said get out of yourself and go back to the essence. I see the word essence and the why. When it comes to corporate gifting strategy, the first thing you need to know why you want to give, right? You want to know, give with a purpose, right? Another way, give with a purpose, and give something will be meaningful. And if you can personalize, because it makes a whole difference. The thing is, back in the days, people, and they somehow still do give a pen as a corporate gift. It's not going to have that greater impact, or a bottle of water that just say, so in their case, if you have an exposition, if you have a booth somewhere, right, that you want to reach potential customers, bring that little gift, and think about the why, and something will be useful for these people, and put a beautiful message on it, because you're worth it, or get out of your head and get into whatever to be catchy, and these people will remember this, and you can even use technology, QR code. You can put a QR code, and when you give this to the customers, you can have them scan it with their phone. They can sign up with their phone. Takes 2 seconds. You can have a lead, and it's really good. And they're going to remember who gave them that candles or whatever personalized you gave them. When they're going to come home, they're going to talk about you.
Right.
So
now, I know both of them. You had a good last catchphrase, but you got a bunch of them, so I don't know how you're going to narrow yours down. But what are you sitting with, like, as you hear them talk about, and what questions do you have?
Well, I just love the intentionality behind it. You're inviting people not to just be kind, but you're asking them to actually be intentional about it, and it be an extension of you and your brand.
Yes.
Whereas a lot of people just make choices because, again, they're just doing what they've seen other people do. And so I'm really liking this reframe.
Good.
Nice. What questions do you sit with that you can ask that somebody who's in that phase can?
Yeah. So I'm just curious if you're talking. Let's go back to the accountants, right?
Yes.
Who are terrified to take risk.
Yes.
What would you say to them? What would you say to somebody right now who's like, but our company has been giving out pens.
Yes, absolutely.
For 15 years, and it works every time. So why would I change?
Absolutely. I think if you always do the same thing, if you don't get out of your head, right, you're going to repeat the same thing over and over again. So the thing is is just that you have to try something, obviously, that will be different, something that'll be meaningful. So number one, stay away from the pen. Stay away from anything that is traditional. The water bottle, right, with the brand logo on it. Branding is great, but add something else to it. So if you want to stick with something basic, add a beautiful message to it, right? So number one. Number two, use technology, right? Number three, buy the book. Because in the excuse me,
the book, buy the book. Do it buy the book, and do it by the book.
By the book. But in a nutshell, when you purchase it, the way I created the book, right? An accountant can look in the back here and look for the CPA, and they can go back and see the exact real world example. If you go to an exposition, If you go to, so depending on the real world experience you're looking for, so the book has been built in a way that you can go to a specific section, obviously by the table of content, but it is specific for promotional event, the type of event. So if you look at something like this in your accountant, they give you a real example and the strategy behind it, right?
Right.
So
Love
it's very-
that.
I'm biased, but it's very.
I do have another question. Can I ask another
Go ahead,
question?
go ahead. Ask another question.
Okay, so my other question too is this always just for events, or is this just gifting at random, like to a client, for example?
Thank you for asking. Good point. This is from employees to, so this is as good for employees as to clients.
Okay.
And think about it. We talk about since COVID, people have the choice between you and another client, and if they stick for a year, right? People now are switching from, not just in the coaching, but I'm talking about in general. If clients sticking with you, with the opportunities of going everything now, you got to thank them. So yes, current clients, this is for current clients, right? Is the same thing too. There's strategy in this. You can say, well, I have a current client, we do this services, but I have a new service coming up. So how to introduce a new service with corporate gifting, right? It's a great way to reach out and announce a new product and new services. So corporate gifting with existing client, you also have many ways of approaching as good as this, and as well for employees, current employees or prospect employees. Give that little gifting at a fair, that could be with intent, with a beautiful message,
Love that.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, sir. Can you make it easy like Denny's for us and close us out with
Waffle House, my man.
Oh, sorry, Waffle House. Oh, I messed it up.
Denny's,
Too.
Waffle House.
Can't miss it. Please.
You go to Waffle House and you can order the same meal 15 different times and the price is always different. Here's what I would say. You use the word meaningful 2 or 3 times, and one of my favorite movies is Jerry Maguire. And Jerry is talking about the late, great Dickie Fox. And Dickie says the key to this business is personal relationships. And so I wrote on my whiteboard, when does a relationship become personal? And to your point in your book, I think it's when it becomes meaningful. And so what's the definition of meaningful? It's 2 or more people working together through interdependence towards a common goal. And I think that you're talking about creating unique activation points through a product or service that allows them to see the relationship in a meaningful way.
Love that.
And we need more of that, right? Meaningful,
Absolutely.
intent, kindness. These are all things, because this is not another marketing book. People say, Dom, what is it? What is not? It's not another marketing book.
Yeah.
It doesn't tell you what to buy, but it tells you about like the kindness, the meaningful, and to make a difference.
All right, well, Don, we're at time. So close us out with this. Give us one meaningful thing you want to leave with the audience, and where can they get this book and connect with you?
Absolutely. Be kind with one another, as always. And if you're in doubt, if you're not sure if this can help you promote your brand, attract and engage with new customers, and help keeping your existing customers, go to giftingplaybook.com.
All right, well, there you have it. Let's clap it up for that. Clap it up for that. We did it.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification bell for more amazing content that we're going to be putting out. And don't forget, you can change your circle to change your life.